dead in the eye and tells you you're not getting paid. Not once but twice. He dares you to complain, practically betting you don't have the guts. That happened to me. But what he didn't know was that I wasn't just some naive kid who'd roll over. I was paying attention. I was documenting. And when the time was right, I'd make sure his little empire of lies came crashing down on his smug head. If you've ever had a boss who thought they could walk all over you, hit that like button, subscribe, and buckle in, because this is one of the most satisfying workplace revenge stories you'll ever hear. I was 22, not exactly a kid, but not experienced enough to know all the games people play. I didn't have a degree, didn't have money saved, didn't even have a backup plan. All I had was grit and the willingness to work with my hands. The auto shop job was tough, but I felt proud. The smell of rubber, the hum of compressors, the hiss of air wrenches, that became my world. The real boss, the owner, wasn't around much. He had an office across town and multiple locations to manage. When he did show up, he treated us like humans, sometimes even bringing pizza or sodas just to say thanks. But most of the time, we were under the eye of the shop supervisor. That's where the problem started. C, the new guy, the nightmare. He strutted into the shop like he owned it. Sunglasses indoors, smirk plastered on his face, barking orders before he even learned anyone's name. He had this way of talking down to people that made your skin crawl. Customers hated him. He'd snap at them, roll his eyes, act like their questions were stupid. But to us employees, he was worse. "Hey, rookie," he sneered at me on my first week. "You missed a spot. You want me to hold your hand while you wipe it down?" The other mechanics exchanged glances, but no one said a word. It was clear from day one that C thrived on intimidation. For weeks we worked under that cloud. He'd pace the shop floor like a drill sergeant, pointing out flaws that weren't there, berating us in front of customers, and nitpicking every little move. And then came payday. Everyone lined up to collect their envelopes. I tore mine open, expecting the relief of finally having money in my pocket. But when I pulled out the slip, my heart dropped. Empty, nothing. I thought it was a mistake. I walked over to C's office, paycheck in hand. Hey, I think something's wrong. There's no check in here." C leaned back in his chair, lacing his fingers behind his head. That smirk again. "No mistake," he said flatly. I blinked. "What do you mean, no mistake? I worked the hours. And you'll keep working if you want to keep this job." He cut me off. "You got a problem with it? File a complaint. But just know, the second you do, you're gone." His words hung in the air like poison. My throat tightened. I wanted to shout, to demand what was mine, but my survival instinct screamed louder. I needed this job. My rent was due. I couldn't risk losing it, so I swallowed my pride, stuffed the empty envelope back in my pocket, and walked away. But it didn't stop there. Next payday, same thing. Nothing. I remember lying in bed that night staring at the ceiling, my stomach hollow not just from hunger but from humiliation. My hands trembled with rage. This wasn't just theft, it was domination. He was testing me, seeing how much I'd take before I broke. And then fate handed me something. One afternoon, I was tidying up near the back office when I heard C's voice through the half-closed door. He was on the phone laughing. "Yeah, rolled that odometer back 30,000. Customer thought he was getting a deal. Title's clean on paper too. Easy money. Man, I'm good at this." I froze. My blood ran cold. He wasn't just a bully, he was a criminal. Odometer fraud, fake titles, fake bills. He was scamming customers left and right, probably pocketing extra cash behind the owner's back. That's when something clicked inside me. If he wanted to play dirty, I'd play smarter. So I started documenting. Every shady move I saw, I wrote it down. Every fake receipt, every suspicious title, every overheard brag, I recorded it. When he rolled in cars with mismatched paperwork, I noted it. When customers stormed out after being mistreated, I wrote down their names and what I'd heard. For 3 months, I became a silent shadow. It wasn't easy. My heart pounded whenever I slipped a copy of a receipt into my bag. Sometimes I thought for sure he'd catch me, but anger gave me courage. Every time I looked at my empty fridge or overdue rent notice, I reminded myself, keep going. And then one morning, C called me into his office. He didn't even look up. "You're done here," he said. "What?" My voice cracked. "You heard me. Pack your stuff." "No paycheck?" I asked quietly. He smirked. "You'll figure it out." That was it. Fired with nothing to show for months of work. I walked out, fists clenched, chest burning with rage. But inside, a strange calm. because now I didn't have to pretend anymore. I knew the owner. He wasn't perfect, but he wasn't cruel. He liked to surprise us with pizza or small bonuses when business was good. I knew he wouldn't stand for this if he knew. So I took my neatly organized folder, 3 months of evidence, and marched into his office. He looked up, surprised to see me. "What brings you here?" Wordlessly, I set the folder on his desk. He opened it, flipping through page after page. At first, confusion, then realization, then fury. When he finally looked up, his jaw was set. "You'll get your job back," he said. "But give me time. I need to investigate." Those 2 weeks felt like an eternity. Every day I wondered, would he believe me? Would C wriggle out of this? But then the call came. "Come down to the shop," the owner said. His voice was clipped, serious. When I arrived, my heart nearly stopped. The owner stood there with 2 massive guys built like bouncers. His expression was stone cold. We walked into the shop together and everyone froze. The owner's voice boomed across the floor. "Everyone, gather up." We circled around. He pulled out a stack of notes, feedback from customers he'd personally called. People who had been cheated, disrespected, lied to. He read their words aloud, one after another. Then he turned to see. The smirk was gone. His face drained of color. His eyes darted to the men standing beside the owner, then back at the papers in his hand. "I trusted you," the owner said, his voice low but dangerous. "You disrespected my customers. You stole from my employees, and you tried to ruin my business." C opened his mouth, stammering. I can explain." "Save it," the owner snapped. He nodded. The 2 men stepped forward, grabbed C by the collar, and dragged him through the shop. His legs flailed, his protests shrill. They tossed him out the front door like garbage. He stumbled onto the pavement, eyes wide, face pale, looking like a beaten dog. Silence. Then, slowly, the corners of people's mouths began to curl into smiles. Relief washed over the room like a fresh breeze. One of my coworkers was promoted to supervisor. The difference was night and day. The atmosphere lifted instantly. We laughed more. Customers smiled. We actually enjoyed coming to work again. That dark chapter turned into an inside joke we'd laugh about for years. But for me, the most satisfying moment wasn't the promotion, or even the better atmosphere. It was the look in C's eyes, that flicker of realization that he wasn't untouchable, that the kid he thought he could cheat had outsmarted him. That moment was justice, and I never forgot the lesson: do no harm, but take no shot. Sometimes life hands you people who think they're above consequences. They think they can bully, cheat, and lie their way through life. But if you're patient, observant, and just a little brave, karma has a way of catching up to them. And when it does, watching it unfold is sweeter than any paycheck. So tell me, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Drop it in the comments below. And if this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next one.